Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another night of VCS action. And do we have a banger for you? My name is Carrix. With me is Marbanogi. How have you been this week?
Not too bad. Gotta do a bit of a run at the play-by-play role yesterday, because Thursday is always hard to organise. Shockingly, lots of other people have lives. I don't, so I get to do VCS. But yeah, otherwise, good.
Good stuff. So coming up, we do have a bit of an interesting one. It is going to be the Box Esports Boys taking on SBTC. Obviously not a great start to the split for the side of MGE, MBE rather. What's your take on them so far?
I expected it to be bad, but I didn't expect this. We saw them at the Star International. We saw some of them at the Star International. The off-season thing between all the B leagues, like LDL, Challengers, Korea. They did okay. Then they changed half their roster, and it hasn't been great. Tomrio's looked okay. Sometimes Nugu has looked good in the early game, but otherwise it's kind of just been a bit of a flop.
Yeah, I mean there is like it is a very harsh situation for this team. I'm sure you guys have talked about this beforehand, but due to some off-season shenanigans, they basically have just put an academy team in the league, and that kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be hard for them to get over the line, particularly because we play best of three. I can see them stealing games, but matches is very hard. So we just need to look for bright spots where we can find them, and just keep in mind that this is an academy team. Looking over the other side of the rift, though, we have SBTC, who have actually been off to a really good start, Marby. What's been jumping out about the chickens to you?
Okay, so the SBTC, they look a whole lot cleaner. They've got Ren onto the back into the coaching staff from SGB, and you can absolutely see the difference. It's night and day between the two. Their lanes aren't performing quite as well as they have in the past. Emper's fallen off a little bit this split compared to the last split. Not necessarily fallen off, but isn't showing up, isn't performing as well as he did. But their map movements look cleaner, their macro looks better. Polite seems much more confident in running the show and making picks happen. He's played the Camille, he's done a bunch of weird stuff. And it's worked out great for them. It's almost a shame that their players have slipped just that little bit too, because the behind the scenes stuff seems to have pushed them up. And if they had that last split performance from Emper and Dia, I can see great things.
For sure, but we do have a long split ahead of us. There's plenty of time for meta shifting. Emper, of course, in a more tank focused meta in the top lane. Not exactly the best thing ever for him. Speaking of meta, though, what are we looking for pick-wise this week? Is there anything that's really jumping out at you? We do have the standings on screen, but we'll come back to those.
So the insanity in the bot lane continues. Yesterday we got our Belveth support from B.
We did.
Yes, it looked alright. It didn't win, but it looked okay. That was a fun one coming out of Chovi's solo queues, where I first heard about it. But otherwise, meta seems to have sort of settled. We are globally, people are moving away from Lucian, Nami, Zeri, Lulu every game, and we're seeing things like Xayah or Khan pop back up. Varus is still a powerhouse. Slater is loving Kalista for some reason, and I can only see that sort of continuing as that's what he seems to be super comfortable on. But the meta is mostly stable. It's still much the same. A few more tanks here and there in the top side, more teams willing to commit to those, and just a bit of a shift in the bot side.
So getting back into this matchup, before we do too much more analysis, we have to put our money where our mouth is. Are we just both predicting SBTC 2-0? I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. There's glimmers of hope from box in occasional games, but they throw their leads as quickly as they get them. So I I just have no faith in this team, and it sucks to say, but no, they don't have a solid mid laner. They're not sure where they're going with it. Their bot lane Slows looks like the worst AD carry in the league. Zodiac hasn't been has had some moments, but not really, pretty much. And when he's your big veteran presence, that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, there is a lot of issues, as you've outlined. Looking over on SBTC, obviously they're such a heavy favourite here, it can be a little bit hard to break down why they win. But what are you really looking for? Who are some players that you'd like to see really pop off?
I'm still waiting to see DNK play Elise. It's been good. Now it's been nerfed a little bit, so it's not perma-banned, but we weren't banning in the VCS anyway. But he's one of our old school junglers. If anyone should be playing Elise, it should be him and Levi. They are the two that should know what they're doing with that champion. Newer champions, I get it. Elise hasn't been seen for years. But, yeah, I want to see Elise. Other than that, Slater and Paulette, I think they are going to be dominant. They've been playing a lot of kill lanes, play a lot of this lane dominant style, and I think they can keep it up and run it through, especially when Slows is also trying to play for lane dominance, but Slows and Zodiac just can't execute on it.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I kind of want to get your take. We've sort of talked about it a little bit. Where do you see SBTC ranking in the league at the moment? They are sitting in third, but due to schedule shenanigans, the ladder itself is not actually the best tell. Where do you actually think they sit?
A lot of it depends on, can Buffalo get their shit together? If they can't, if Buffalo can't, I think SBTC should be a comfortable fourth in the playoffs. Wales and Cerberus. Cerberus and Garma are the team I put above them. Flash, Secret, and Box below. And then Buffalo is currently looking like a below, but they could get... They improved yesterday. And maybe they can stabilize and get a little bit better.
So apparently we are being told that Spot and Vinboys are potentially starting today. Makes sense. If you're going to give your subs a run, do it against MBE. Makes a lot of sense to me. And that's a good thing as well. We play best of threes in Vietnam. If it goes really badly in game one, you bring your real team back in for game 2 and 3 and just win. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. Spot is exciting to see. He's like, this heralded jungler that everyone keeps saying is better than Levi, and then every time he plays a match, he looks terrible. But hey, maybe today's the day.
Yeah, I haven't been sold on either of these players, really. They've been around for a while. That's the thing. I know Spot had a bit of time where I think he was banned for a little bit, which is why he sort of disappeared from the league. Yeah. But since he's come back, since I've been watching, he hasn't really been that impressive. Vinboys has always been a bench warmer. I think their plan was for him to take over from Celebrity, but it hasn't really happened. They picked up Slater instead, and away we go. It's a draft.
That's right, we are into draft. We see the bans coming in thick and fast. The ADC is being heavily targeted here by MBE. 4 removed overall. And it's going to be one immediately locked in as the Tristana for SBTC is going to lead the way.
Yeah, super flexible. Can go into the mid lane, can go in the bot lane. And I mean, sometimes we've even seen him in the top side. Top lane. So lots of flexibility, similar to this. Gragas can flex into multiple positions. One of those positions is going to be denied immediately, and in my opinion, it's Gragas' worst role. So hey, getting an early lease in sounds fine to me.
Yep, works completely. With all of these ADCs removed, though, where do you think MBE is going to go for that role?
So Varus is still available, provided it doesn't get picked up.
He is not.
Not Varus. Sorry. Lucian, Zeri, Xayah, they're all available. There's lots of things you can go for. I don't know why I thought Varus was someone else, but anyway. There are plenty of AD carries left on the table. I would be grabbing Xayah here. Definitely the best AD carry on the patch. And sure, you're not going to have quite as much fun with Rakan almost certainly hitting the ban list afterwards, but okay. Thresh as the takeover. If Thresh is picked up, that signals to me if they're trying to bait bans like Aphelios and maybe Jinx. These sort of immobile head carries. But could just settle in with a Renekton and you see the Fiora, you can pretty happily take whatever matchup you want into it.
Yeah, just hide your bot lane for now. It's risky, considering we could just see 2 more ADC bans here and really, really push slows down the tier list.
It would be risky.
If we just see Zeri Lucian ban, there's not a lot of great options left.
I would almost rather see
probably don't
bans to the protective enchanters. Maybe take away Thresh, maybe take away Lulu. And this sort of means that if you want to move this Tristana into the bot lane, your kill lane can be more effective without the added protection of Thresh, whoever. My cat is meowing at a possum.
I can hear him. He's very upset.
I might go fix it.
It's all right. Yeah. You go help your cat out. I can talk about a draft. Don't you worry. As it is going to be Thresh, Kalista, and Nautilus being removed at the moment. Kalista, fairly interesting. They might be reading that as a support. I doubt it. It just kind of tells me they think this Tristana is a mid laner. Dia1 has always been famous for his Tristana mid lane, so I don't think it's a bad read by any means. To see if that does end up being correct. Lucian taken out as well. Zeri is still available, obviously not as popular recently, and also not the easiest champion to play, so slows might be a little bit afraid of it. We'll have to see where MBE does want to go. And they're just going to go for the Xayah. That's still being open. Makes a lot of sense. Why not? Rakan is still available as well. Unless Paulette wants to take that one away. He is a very talented Rakan player, so I wouldn't necessarily blame him.
Alright.
Welcome back.
Xayah being picked up makes a lot of sense. Lucian ban, I don't necessarily agree with. I think it's kind of a weak pick, or at least hard to execute on. But Aphelios and Lulu makes a lot of sense as a bot lane response. You do give up that Rakan, and that creates a lot of potential. I'm confused. I'm so confused. And my cat's biting me. Sorry. He's upset because I brought him inside. From his little catio.
Oh, my word. Aphelios has been locked in for SBTC, so that is going to be the Tristana mid. As they actually go towards Aphelios, Lulu up against Xayah, Blitzcrank. Interesting.
Okay, this is going to be very interesting. No great way to get away from the Blitzcrank if he lands the hook. So it's gonna be all up to Zodiac. Will he win the game off with constant hooks? Will he win the game off one single hook, or will he just be useless because he never lands a hook? The triality of Blitzcrank.
Yep, that's the way Blitzcrank goes. Either a dead weight or an insta-win as the coaches make their way off stage. And the Rift begins to load. Having a look at the draft, nameplates off, which draft do you prefer, Marty?
Oh, I tend to favor, for the most part, I would favor what SBTC is putting down. I think it's a much more traditionally stronger draft. It's a lot more... It plays into their style. There is a very strong Fiora player on the top side. It's Emperor's most played the split. But Blitzcrank always throws a wrench in it, doesn't it? And there's a lot of targets that the hook can land on and be very effective onto. It's not like you're at risk of pulling an Alistair or something big into your team that you don't want in there. So that throws a wrench in it.
Yeah, in lane as well, potentially can catch that Aphelios. Doesn't have a thresh to lantern him back out. So we'll have to see how that goes. Could get MBE, could be the sort of the bit of spice that MBE needs to get over the line against such a trend. I actually didn't check the nameplates. I should have done that while we're in draft to see if those subs were starting. We never know 100%.
It was.
It was?
It was Spartan mid boys, yeah.
I thought so. I should have
I didn't pay attention to who actually was starting in the mid lane for box. So that's a bit of a silly one from me. It turns out it is Nuku. That makes sense to me. He's overall performed a lot better. He's had moments of strong laning phases. Going to be a little bit hard into a Tristana this game, but had strong laning phases into the likes of Glory. Hasn't translated into any wins, but it's better than not really having anything, as poor Emo has sort of just struggled to have an impact at any moment of the game.
Yeah, very true. But hey, this might be the game where Tom Rio can lead his team forward.
VCS repatch notes challenge impossible. Maokai phase rush is kind of bad now. Full AP Maokai, not good. His tank build is still strong. It's still a complete nuisance with the saplings, but he doesn't get to just nuke people anymore. And yeah, that's good. That's a nice healthy change overall. But teams gonna keep building phase rush.
Yeah, let's see if he can get any value out of it. But yep. VCS to read the patch notes challenge is one that they will always fail.
The only one they ever read is, did Lee Sin get buffed? Yes! Slam him!
Lee Sin all day, every day. The Vietnamese players absolutely love that man. As just early on, I'm looking where the junglers are going. It is going to be the same clear path for both of them, as they both will finish their clear on the bottom side. Maokai a little bit ahead at the moment, doesn't have to do those Krugs. We could have a bit of a gank to the mid lane.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm just gonna try and shoot some pressure.
No chance though. Like, it's just
there's good instant setup with Nugu. Flash body slam is very hard to react. Caps has shown that it's possible, but it's not the easiest. And a good early scouting ward from Emperor has made this. It's rough for him because he doesn't want to overstep, but he lets Tomrio know he's on a ward. And okay, hello spot. That's very
okay. What's just happened?
You are not tanky. You can't do that. You didn't go aftershock. You can't do that. You can't get away with that. And SBTC went there was no communication.
That's so silly. That was really silly. That is showing a sub coming in. Let's have a look at this replay. This never works.
Yeah,
ever.
The bot lane is just not in position to respond, and without aftershock, he's just not tanky enough to go for that dive at this early. That's small mercies as it went to the Blitzcrank, but that could be an early pair of Moby boots, and Zodiac starting to influence other lanes if he wants to. But yeah, yikes.
Yeah, that's not a good first showing there by Spot. Hopefully they are able to recover. The bot lane of SBTC is actually still doing okay, able to get this shove in and get a good back timing there for Vin Boys. So I don't know how explosively it's going to affect the lane, but it definitely isn't going to make Spot too happy.
Yeah, we'll see once this wave is cleared roughly how far. Vin Boys is only about a wave behind, so it's with that assist, that's kind of him back to parity, and the lead is just what little lead was there is lost, and that's only between the other carries. There's also gold onto the Blitzcrank, which, you know, not so hot. You can see the early bags coming through, and he's gonna just be out and roaming on the map, especially once I hit 6 and can be as safe as she likes with that Featherstorm.
We do see Enfer struggling a little bit in this matchup. Has been chunked down. Thankfully, his team is doing a great job with wards and the like to make sure Tom Rio will never be able to find a path onto him. Ooh, okay. A trap could be sprung here.
Tom Rio should see Spot first before he even makes the call, so... or not. But
they might.
Yeah.
Okay. They thought about it, but they're not going to pull the trigger. Good job there from MBE. Just back away. Don't need to go for a 2v2 under a tower at 5.5 minutes.
No. The last thing you want is an accelerated Fiora, just because she will eventually control the side lane, but it's not gonna happen straight away. And you want to get the most out of this Renekton for Sunma as you can before, before Fiora moments start to happen, and being able to back early and get an early Iron Spike Whip should be good for that. Not quite.
So moving forward into this front bush, you can see how scared they are of this Blitzcrank, and you can't blame them. Very spooky champion to lane against, but all is well down in the bot lane at the moment as Slows and Vinboys just happy to farm it up, farm up a storm, get themselves out of lane.
Mm-hmm. And now, no more Graviton means that threatens from Tristana to roam to the bot side are a little bit less impactful. It's a bit hard to make the gank stick without Spot or the Graviton, because there's no hard CC coming in through there. There's a lot of damage if D1 shows, but right now he's just happy stacking his call, pushing and getting a CS advantage, getting about 2 waves at this point, and just hitting the tower. He's Tristana. That's all he wants to do. Walk up, hit the tower, mine some plates. I'd love to get a quick look. It seems like he's mined at least one, if I can read through the pixels correctly.
Not sure. We'll have to see in a little bit. A Spot is making his way down to the bot side again. This might just be a counter gank angle, because I really don't think there's anything to make of this one. He actually got spotted as well, so they know exactly where he is on the map.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of Finboys and Palette just want to shove, want to try and get a reset in. So that just want to keep the man there just in case they get ganked while they're overstepping. They should have potentially tracked Tomrio down to this part of the map. Spot goes to get. Okay.
Flash for flash. That's fine. Yep. They got Zodiac's flash, burnt spots. A little bit of a non-event.
Yeah. A little bit of nothing. Now with the reset timers, that's just a good, easy response dragon from the side of MBE. So they're going to come out of this looking pretty happy. They have a small gold lead. They have a dragon lead now. It's looking up. It's looking okay at 8 minutes.
Yeah, so far it's all right. As you said, Tomrio will pick up this dragon, getting the Hex Tech under their belt. Will probably be traded for the Rift Herald, as SE's bot side has come up. If you drop that in mid lane, potentially, Tristana can use it as a great opportunity to mine some plays.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if... I think they showed Emperor a little bit early there. I know he kind of wants to just get as much farm under his belt as possible, but if he'd let a couple minions die to the tower and wait a little bit longer, maybe they could have faked out where the bot lane was going a little longer and made MBE walk across, have the wrong lane assignments that they really didn't want, and open up the 2v1 at the top side where you can crash the tower and use Aphelios to mine a ton of plates. But in the end, it's not going to amount to too much. Bit of free time for both of the laners of SBTC, while MBE adjusts.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a bit of standard Australian laning for a little bit. Zodiac just going for the Hex Flash. Just constantly being a threat. He's going to go clear out the control ward. Tomrio there backing him up, making sure he's able to do that safely. And now the junglers are back on this top side. The players coming in. Lovely Feather Storm from Slows will turn it off. Never mind, the Maokai ult coming in. They're on top of the Blitzcrank. Should be able to pick him up as he sends out the lightning. Down he goes. Spot low. Oh, a lovely play here from Tomrio. Moves forward, takes out Vinboys. Dia is here, but the health bars are looking anemic. Down goes Tomrio. He can't even get the kill onto Spot. Slows last man standing. And it's a lovely little 2-for-1.
This is not gonna stop as Emperor's on the wrong side of town. He's gonna pop.
Emperor just caught and taken out.
Yeah, just a little bit of everybody on the top side gave some room for the bot side play, and Slow's getting a little bit lucky there with his Feather Storm catching Dia1 in the jump, so couldn't really follow up. And this starts off okay. Everything lands onto Zodiac, which means that you can still get one kill out of this, but the response from Tomrio, and even just how long it takes them to kill Zodiac, and then they just get greedy. They try to get Slows as well, and that gives the angle for Zodiac to really just pop off on here and it's really just lucky Dia gets this huge burst to save the plate, but on the other side, Emperor gets a little bit greedy for a plate, and Sunma just finds a good room.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, just flashes in. Emperor can't really do much about it and does go down.
Yeah, slight mistime on the Robhast. Bit of a mind game against the Renekton of playing around that auto attack, but doesn't get it right, so can't find a stun on Tanuga and attempt a way out of there. Doesn't burn Ghost though, so very obvious. It seems like he was very much aware that it was a done deal.
He does. He certainly looked that way. I can't quite read the gold difference. Unfortunately, I've got a bit of a low quality stream at the moment, but
It's
should be fairly close.
It's about 200 gold.
Okay, so very, very close. No worries whatsoever. Teams just, once again, both junglers on the same side of the map. Has been really, really good from Tomrio. Just reading Spot like a book.
Yeah, it's a little bit of who's reading who. Spot's sort of just stalking Paulette now as Paulette and Vinboy, so maybe it's not that hard to read. You could probably catch someone out by just Spot going anywhere else for half a second. As Vinboy's, he's got good guns to make a fight happen if they want. They're just trying so much. MBE are just, I think they're very much aware and didn't come to the.
Yep, it only catches onto Zodiac though. The Featherstorm from slows keeps him safe.
Okay.
And then they just walk out.
One day.
Herald summoned.
One day I'm going to remember correctly, like fully remember without having to think, which one is Twisted Advance and which one is Nature's Grasp. I will get this right eventually. But as it is, I'm like, okay, both of these are graspy spells. Both of them are naturey because he's a tree. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. But as it is right now, Sunma just doing a bit chunked.
Yeah, Emperor's not been having a great time in this lane. He did get counterpicked after all.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. It's not the best matchup in the world, and that is a Blade of the Ruin King. So that's why that's hurting so much. That triple proc, that triple auto attack instant proc on the Enhanced Ruthless Predator is just insane amounts of trading and burst damage. So Sunma going to be not a very good front line, but he can absolutely assassinate someone if Paulette isn't on point with the polymorphs or wild growth. So going to keep an eye on Sunma, see if he can be that big threat this team needs to turn this into their first win. Right now it's small gold lead for the side of SBTC, but the Dragon advantage should realistically balance that out.
Yeah, realistically. It's very close. Oh, flash forward. They're going in immediately onto slows. A hook to pull one threat away. Paulette might be in some trouble on the counterattack as MBE's on the way, but no, Tomrio gives him the kick. It doesn't have the follow-up. So that's actually going to be SE just evacuating to their tower. 1 kill under their belt.
Timed it beautifully, getting in just before that Featherstorm was up, and also managing to take that fight and get away cleanly while giving Dia so much space. Instantly takes down that turret because Tristana gets Wiki. And MBE are going to try and respond with this Dragon.
But Spot is here.
Committed. He still has that ultimate, so this should be a very easy contest for SBTC.
Yeah.
I understand why Paulette's scared, but Vinboy has no need to beat this.
They're just going to give it up. They just decide they don't need it. All right, fair enough. I do agree. I think they could have contested, but they're just going to give it over to MBE. They don't want to lose the game over a dragon that they don't think is necessary.
But why? Summer didn't even have teleport. I just don't understand. Like, if you were worried about a teleport advantage, maybe, but Slows was dead. He was walking in from base. No teleport, real teleport risk. Maybe Summer walks down, I guess, but okay, this is just going to be the play on to Slows. As said, his Featherstorm isn't quite up yet. He lost a little bit long because Vinboy tries to double dip and throw his ultimate at Zodiac, see if he can get anything done there. But it does save Paulette, I suppose, and now it's just all the objectives falling into MBE's hands, and Here comes another one, and will they contest this one? Emperor is not around, so probably not.
I don't think they can contest it. They might be able to take a fight on the way out, potentially. But I think they're just going to let this go. MBE, once again, getting another objective. SE kind of getting caught flat-footed.
Yeah, this time around, they sort of saying we're trading this Rift Herald for space for our Fiora just to try and get her back into the game. Because she's down a little bit. She's down a kill. She's down a fair number of CS. And if she can crash this wave and potentially take out this tower, because after all, it is Fiora, that's worth. You've already gotten first brick. You're picking up a tower, which is the rough estimate of that Rift Herald anyway. You're working out okay.
Yeah, it's fine. They are starting to build that gold lead, as you were saying. Tomrio up the top side. Wouldn't be surprised if he just jams the Herald down. Oh, they're going to go on to D1, but the buffered jump will keep him nice and safe.
Buffer jump is good, but you can see it's half his health bar. He has to back off pretty much completely, especially if Tomrio is up here. They probably don't even need the Rift Herald up here, so they just give the tower to Sunma, get the enhanced recall, and Zodiac's just up there in case Dia has any thoughts of coming back, seeing Tomrio back off, but no, just this Renekton currently working out, being a nice strong lane for the side of MBE to play around. It's getting them a little bit of gold back into this game. Still waiting for that big actual team fight to take off. But might be a while away as
we're just chilling.
Just the jungle situation for Spot is not the best. Has a few assists to make up for it, but he's slipping behind at the CS. He's got the demonic embrace, which as I said before, it's been nerfed a little bit it's definitely nowhere near as effective on Maokai as it used to be. So maybe just trying to get a bit more of these tank stats under his belt before he wants to actually commit to a full 5v5.
Yeah, we'll have to find out how they do want to play that one, as it has just been Farm City. It's been a quiet game so far. Only these 6 kills, very low for VCS standards. As Herald will be summoned up. Not going to get the full tower, but we'll get a good chunk onto this mid lane.
Bit early.
All 5 members of MBE's here. They're actually just going to try and push forward to get the full tower, but the Maokai ultimate will dissuade them for now. They can't push into that one, and the mid lane tower will stand for now.
Yeah, the threat of the hook was enough to help them get it a little bit more down, but they're not able to break the mid lane tower, and sidewave pressure is just insane on this comp. If either of these side laners are left alone with a tower, they can do so much. Dia's probably dead.
Probably, but they are
Now
calling
Emperor's
it a
probably
TP.
dead.
I don't know why they've called this TP. Emperor arrives and immediately gets the hell out. Shutdown secured for Nugu.
Yeah, on the other side, Sunma had his TP interrupted, so Emperor gets to leave. But as it is, Dia just getting caught out, and a teleport kind of wasted for the side of Sunma, but it's also traded by Emperor, and Dia 1 still has his teleport, so they will still be able to play around TP advantage in this upcoming dragon fight once he spawns.
They will, and I think this is one that SE kind of have to fight. I don't feel like you want to give Soul Point up for no reason.
Definitely would not be a fan of giving Cloud Soul over to Sunma and Slows. That works really well on their champions. Being able to get that Dominus straight into the into the Renekton Ruthless Predator. Flash Force.
The flash.
That
Assault comes in, does land onto 3, but they just don't have the numbers there to actually fight it. So MBE will walk away. That's a big ultimate to expend right before the dragon.
If you're currently setting up the wave to make this pincer maneuver possible, they still have the Nature's Grasp, so the engage can come through, but currently the zoning from Nugu has been pretty good, and here comes the fight.
Yep. Enpa is going to block the escape, and here they come. The Wild Growth immediately used on the spot, but he just goes down. Can they trade it back? MBE, Tomrio's low, he'll die. D1 getting some resets, moving forward, firing the cannon. Has the double kill, and you know he wants more. Does he pull the trigger? Knows where that hook came from. They're chasing them. They're corralling them. He goes over. Big triple buster shot. Huge damage onto Slow. Summer's going to try and do something about it. Trying to reposition well is DR1. He's still alive. He finally falls. Just the Crocodile now getting cut down. The MBE bot lane on the run, but guess who's here? It's Vinboys. He's flashing forward. Finds one auto. Finds two. Needs a third. Hits it with the snipe, and only Slows will walk away.
Only Slows walks away. A bit of a hero attempt from Summer being able to kill DR1 and basically in that 1v3 at the end. But if he had that fully completed gold drink, he might have been able to get away with it. But Emperor does not. Okay, Emperor just wants to inflate his solo kill stats. That's all I'm saying. He has a reputation to live up to. And this starts off looking pretty rough because it feels like at this stage, Gragas is more tanky than Maokai. Maokai just can't get involved, but resets do come through from Dia and are able to pop off on the backside of the fight. Plat kind of, I think, is trying to stop his mid laner from going crazy with that blast going, but the good buster shot keeps them in range of Enpa and Palette. But Summer just commits himself to the fight to just try and get his ADC and support out of there. He trades his life, and Vinboys will clean up Zodiac, but you did save Zaya, so silver linings? That was the attempt. That was the... Yeah. Saving Private Slows did come through.
We come back to live, and Summer has been caught out. Can he try and get a one-shot? No, he can't. And the Chakrams will rain down, and Vinboys pick himself up another kill. And Marby, I think this game has been cracked open like an egg.
Yeah, that seems to be it. Once the 5v5 comes through, Spot playing on the edge, they're going to lose this tower, but it doesn't really matter. It's a little bit back for MBE, but they still have the potential dragon stacks. They only lost one. They have two more to get, but the gold lead, it's not actually that bad yet. It's only 3,000.
It's more about where the gold is.
But yeah, that is a bigger failure. So that's a big Tristana. Slows should be a little bit stronger at this exact point in the game, just on the items, on the item breakpoints. Navori compared to Bloodthirster, but I don't think Vinboys is long to be without his Infinity Edge. Should be coming just up shortly. So, and then Dia's on his model crit enhancer too. So,
exactly. That is two ADCs that are looking very, very strong for SBTC. Definitely not done and dusted for MBE. They definitely have ways to get back into this one, as you said. But look at the gold there. That is looking a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it's all red at the top. It's all good for SBTC. The red team is the blue team. Man, this bloody...
Well, to be fair, it's the orange.
Just swap the graphic. Just swap it around.
Well, no, but SBTC is orange. Anyway.
If it was still like Season 2 and the red team was still purple, I'd be okay. I'd be fine with it. But we've long since moved past that. Just poking in around the Baron. But it's so hard to start up. It's almost desperation to start it up at this point. Mm-hmm. Actually, it just would be a
true Hail Mary.
I don't love what Summer has done, which is split the difference in the worst possible way. He's gone for the Gore Drinker, which will make him a little bit tankier, but it undercuts his ability to just Prowler's Claw and remove Vinboys from existence. So, yeah, not the biggest fan of that. Yeah, I just...
MBE forced out of their own jungle. Yeah, I agree. Forced out of their own jungle. SE in full control of this top side. They have all the vision around Baron. I don't think they're going to start it, as you said. 45 seconds on this dragon. I think they will just try and reset, then go get some vision in the bottom river. As Enpa. Ooh, Enpa could be in some trouble here. Oh, yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to put the grand challenge down. He can't find any space, though, and that is going to be Enpa dead for dragon. Silly, silly play.
He just wants to hit these towers, but in the end, the tower will fall. It's just going to Dia instead, because he's being left alone. Zodiac hunting. Narrow. Any other rift, and that was a dead spot.
Yeah, they're actually going to start the Baron up. This is actually really good here from MBE, in my opinion. They're seeing the opportunity.
Oof.
It is green-white, not too bad. Lovely Maokai ult goes across all of them. Zodiac's taken a lot of damage. Dominus already popped for Summer. Dia 1 on a good flank. Spot can get into the pit as well. Has that flash. How are they going to do it? Baron secured. They have to go now. Spot moves forward. He's got 5 on top of him. Flashes over the wall. Manages to get out. Dia 1 has to use the jump away, but they're bearing down on him. Jumps again with that first kill coming in.
Here's Emper.
There's a good knock away by Dia, but he's going to pay for it with his life. On the other side, we have Slows doing a lot of damage onto Vinboys, but now the rest of SE are here. They're chasing forward. Can they get onto Summer? He's low. He throws out a stun. He buys space, but only 2 Baron buffs will get away, Marby.
Yeah, they pick up a couple in what is this? Started off as a 4v5. They pick up the tower as well. Enpa was dead, but they managed to delay long enough to get him back into the fight. Now there's a dragon available. MBE is out on the map first with the resets. I don't think though. Yeah, if it was Tomrio and Slows, maybe they'd have the ability to chunk it down enough to maybe get away with it, but not with Zodiac. And Zodiac and Spot does a good amount of disruption here and puts Nugu into a rough spot where Yoshino can run him down. It's not the ideal guns for this sort of fight, but once it trades over to the red-white, he's able to 1v1 Slows on the other side, and Enper being able to teleport in and assist.
We have a fight around this dragon in the picture-in-picture. Enper knocked away. Zodiac's going to fall. Dragon secured.
Yeah, okay, that's yeah, not great. They tried to run away, and okay, that's a lot. How is Spot from
Slows down? Yeah, over the wall, Dia 1 can't actually find his way onto Tomrio. A little bit too slippery on this Lee Sin. He's going to take away that red. No, never mind, smited. And despite the Baron being picked up for MBE, it's gotten a little bit rough.
So, 2000 gold Baron power play for the side of Team SBTC. SBTC Esports having a really great Baron this time around, as Nuku is going to die as well. Dia 1 a little bit rough, and ooh, that was the wrong target.
It was, but they are going to turn around, get a kill onto Spot. He's actually been having a bit of trouble this game. In here, on the table, Summer moves in onto Enpa. They're doing a lot of damage. They need to evacuate. Tomrio boots him. Doesn't quite do enough damage, though. Buster shot knocks the Renekton away, and SE will get out saved.
Sunmo is still a terrifying crocodile if he can get on top and stay on top. Enpa manages to slip away, but they weren't able to save Spot, so this will put an end to the push from SBTC, and recover a little bit of gold, but that's still, yeah, as joking, 2,000 get Barrett, 2,000 gold to the side of SBTC over the course of the Baron. It was not the best Baron out of the side of MBE, and they didn't get anything. They got the gold from the Baron and then lost everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just trying to bait here.
Not what you want. Yep, Hex Flash, hook, doesn't land onto Vimboys, who has a massive shield as well, with that Lulu beside him, so not too stressed.
Overhealed Bloodthirster is back, baby. We're gonna have to... I want... Honestly, at some point we're gonna have to start seeing Serpent's Fangs building against Aphelios, because this is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, honestly.
Give Serpent's Fang Grievous Wounds just to deal with Aphelios, so you don't have to commit 2 items to this man. He heals so much. He gets such a big shield. And yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good for SBTC right now. They have all the time in the world to close it out. The Baron going to the side of MBE pretty much just means SBTC can't end faster. But they still have decent siege. They still have good setup. As long as Zodiac doesn't land the King Hook onto Vinboys, yeah, it should be lights out.
Definitely should be. As they are just going to do this 2-lane and turn into a 3-lane push, even with Enpa moving down to the bottom side. Vinboys, so incredibly threatening.
Setting up the 1-3-1 could be a risk, especially if MBE wanted to overload like this, perhaps.
Hey, they try and go in onto Dia. It works, and he just gets exploded. Maokai buying space, but it is 4v5. They'll get the inhibitor, but I don't know if they can get anything more.
Yeah, it's a good Grag Assault to stop.
The hook has come out. In goes the Aphelios ult. They blow up the Blitzcrank. Spot manages to get out as well. And now Enper moving forward. They're going to clean them out. That damage from the Aphelios, absolutely absurd. Nugu, next one to fall. Under the towers they go, and they've aced them out of nowhere. And the game goes from bad to worse to done, as SC will pick themselves up game 1 over MBE.
It looks like it was about to be a bit of a good haul, but then Zodiac just oversteps. He wants to land that hook onto Vinboys. He wants to get it going, but he misses the hook by a hair. It's rough, but because he made that step up, the collapse comes in and they take the final fight that they were looking for. Does SBTC, and that's a game 1 in the bank.
That it absolutely is. It was a little bit shaky earlier on where some of Spots plays, I meant to say subs, but mostly referring to Spot, looked a little bit shaky. Tom Rio did his best. Vinboys was fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Vinboys actually played a pretty good game on the Aphelios. But with that, SE are up 1-0. Let's see if they can close it out or if MBE will put themselves on the board. We'll be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. This is VCS English.
is my life story. My fingers to the bone. I'm running after glory. Oh yeah, I should have known. Should have known. Yeah, I should know by now.
Welcome back, everybody. It was a reasonably hard-fought game, but in the end, SBTC did get themselves over the line fairly convincingly. Do you agree, Marby?
Yeah, it was a nice, fairly even game up until that first big dragon fight around the first Cloud Drake. From there, it was kind of it was a bit of a stomp. MBE did manage to find their way into a Baron, but they weren't able to do anything with it. They lost 2,000 gold in the Baron power play, and yeah, it's well, they didn't lose it. The SBTC got it. You know what I mean? Negative 2,000 gold Baron power play, and that's kind of just the story for MGN Box Esports. The split, they can fight it out pretty okay in the early game, but when they start to lose, they just lose hard. They don't do a slow bleed out, which is just nice.
Good. Yeah, no one wants to watch a slow bleed out.
Because it means we can get out of here faster. But yeah, you just sort of see even. Then it just starts to go up and to the right pretty happily. Small dip for Baron take, but the jump afterwards is even bigger. So just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, for sure. Going into game 2, I don't think there's a huge compositional error that I could really point to, but is there anything you could imagine them doing differently in the draft phase?
I don't know. The draft was fine. There's no issues in the draft. You can maybe go Rakan instead of Blitzcrank. That'd be my only note of this is a strictly better option. But that's not enough.
I agree.
It's not a big enough thing to go up. Maybe you could just try something completely off the wall. Maybe you try something like try Rel Tristana on the bot side. Play a big kill lane with a jungler that can support that. Maybe not Lee Sin. Maybe I don't know. Or maybe you just say, look, Tomrio is our only member who's performing, give him Graves, and just let him carry us. Carry us, so great, Mr. Tomrio. Because he's made some good plays, and he's been pretty good around the map in other series, but there's only so much you can do on Lee Sin. There's only so much you can do on a gank-heavy jungle that's main job in the game is to get your lanes ahead.
Yeah, well, they will not be playing Rel Tristana, as Tristana has been removed. And SBTC are really, they're really liking this Aphelios, and they're actually just going to first pick it.
Yeah, it's been good, and it's super comfortable for a lot of these players. He's just really strong right now. The changes to he didn't even get buffed that much. It's really strange. The main buff was the attack speed level up is now viable over the lethality as the second option, as the second rank up, and that seems to have really catapulted him into being picked. And yeah, apparently that's all he needed to really step up, and I think that makes sense with the fact you're not really forced into a second item anymore. You can build the attack speed that you really want to make an AD carry function and get full benefit.
Yeah. Thresh Jinx is what's being considered at the moment for MGN, sort of playing that scaling game alongside them. Never mind, they're reconsidering the ADC pick. Xayah would make sense. Slows was not incredible on it in game 1, but not terrible either.
Yeah, it's not bad, and it's a lot more forgiving than the Jinx, even alongside that Thresh. And now with the Thresh, this should be the safest AD carry known to man. That said, up against a potential Addy support, and even then there's still a lot you can go for. Paulette can pick one of the big hook champions like Nautilus to try and play it out even more aggressively. Renata works. It's not quite as aggressive, but it can wreak havoc, and it's just a really strong support. So you can see there 100% win rate. Not the highest pick rate, of course, but every time it is, it's kicking ass.
Yeah, this is interesting so far that we haven't got any top laners. So I assume that Gragas will be going mid again. Jace taken away, Lee Sin as well. Interesting roles to see fall so far through the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the jungler options very limited right now. I mean, well, actually, not very limited. There's so many junglers available. What am I talking about? But they don't want to give Spot junglers he's happy on, so I wouldn't be surprised terribly to see a Viego or something along those lines hit the bench either. But there's still Centralani available, so the jungle focus seems strange to me in the second ban phase coming out from Box. Because there's just so many. Unless that's meant to be a top lane Lee Sin, in which case...
would be interesting, as Alistair was considered there for a moment. I know solo lane Alistair, not something you like at all, but Wukong, just going to get locked in. That's just a strong, very, very generic jungler for Spot.
Yeah, it's one of the best performing junglers in the league. It's very easy, even if you get put down 0-7 on it, you can always have an impact on a team fight because Cyclone is just that good. And now it's just up to what does Box want to do. They technically still have the jungle available with Gragas, but I think Gragas' best role is top, but it's a bit rough to blind pick it. I definitely understand why they don't want to rush it up to the top side. And where did they land in mid? They can pick a safe mid laner. This is not the safe mid laner I was thinking of, but it fits the bill.
Interesting decision to go to Veigar against Annie. Obviously, the Cage not doing a huge amount, but still a good, strong scaling pick and does a lot against Wukong.
Yeah, absolutely. Can absolutely play super safe against Wukong. Maybe even Gwen, though Gwen's immunity actually will be decent. So Gwen should be pretty happy. The picking it into the Gnar is a little bit strange to me. I feel like there are better Gnar options for that Emperor's depth Gnar counters that Emperor can play.
I mean, the Irelia being removed does kind of get rid of the number one counter.
Yeah, I mean...
He could have gone to the Riven.
Could have gone to the Yasuo. Where's the Yasuo, man?
I'm happy he didn't do that.
But, yeah, it's a bit of a strange choice. But looking to be that big carry threat in the later game rather than try and be that lane dominant superstar. So, you know, not gonna complain that hard.
Yeah, that's very true. So, Marby, I ask you once again, nameplates off, which draft do you prefer?
I'm falling into the camp of SBTC this time. I feel, I mean, you've got Annie, you've got Wukong, you've got Aphelios and Renata. That's a pretty damn good bot lane, and even though Gwen's probably not my ideal choice to round out that comp, I think it worked out pretty well. Xayah Thresh should be a fine bot lane, but I'm pretty much I don't love the Gnar Gragas that they've got going on. I think that's a pretty hit and miss top side. It's a bit too. That is a Sapir looking intro screen.
Yep. Hung Dong on a pause screen. Oh boy! It would be, of course, the night I come back from casting, I have to take time off due to IRL issues. The night I come back, it's pause time. The Maokai screen, also known as the Carrot screen.
So look, I'm going to be honest. It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool with the Sapir.
I genuinely almost thought it was intentional.
Yeah, I've been back on my Western nonsense lately. I'm like, and it makes me feel happy, you know, the Sapir filter over everything. You love it. What am I talking about? I don't know.
As soon as
Gragas and Nah
Nah
both extremely
we
flippy.
just lose it.
Yeah, Gragas Nah both extremely flippy. They can look amazing, but they both I think look absolutely useless when they are behind. And again, my problem with Nah as always is you're relying on the enemy team to slip up rather than you being good. That's my
Thankfully, we do not have an extended pause. Maokai can remain in the forest as we go on to the Rift for Game 2 of MGN Box Esports taking on SBTC Esports.
Okay, so let's look at this Vega. He's been popping up a little bit. I've seen him in bot lane. The only games I've really watched, I've seen him in bot lane, but he has definitely been picked up in the mid lane. And it's a pretty good answer into a number of champs. I think it's really great into a Jax composition because you're not auto attacking, so it doesn't really matter, and you can of course knock out the leap strike as well. So similar sort of theory, I guess, coming through against the Wukong. And of course you can just trap Annie. Annie can't do anything. She can't get out of that. Vidboy's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, gets ignited at level 1. Does have that red gun to get a little bit of health back, but he's not going to be happy about that one.
Yeah, man, I know they buffed Thresh's damage, but that was it's not meant to be level 1 damage. It's meant to be as he gets souls. But yeah, just the early steel shoulder guards going for that AD option just lets you have a little bit more lane presence. Meanwhile, Palette trying to play it a little safer with their support item choice. But Vidboy should be fine. As you said, has the ability to heal up, has the early control over the wave, and Palette playing the control really well. Flay from Zodiac at level 1 means they can't really threaten as aggressively with the pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and does actually end up in SE's favor, at least positioning-wise, if not health bar-wise. Up on the top side, Emperor looks to be building a bit of an early crash, but Summer going Mega should have some stats to be able to fend him off if he wants to.
Yeah, bit interesting. This feels like a definite choice from Sunma to drag Enpa forward in lane, as he's got as Tomrio is clearing up to the top side, and you'd normally expect lane control to sort of fall into the ranged champion's hands. So I think this is a deliberate pull him forward, try and make him sweat a little bit, but it does concede a lot of control to the bot side, and you get to just cheat a call out of Aphelios.
Yeah, I mean, you're always fairly happy to do that if you can get that early cull onto the Aphelios' spot, making his way down to the bot side, not going to be spotted. I don't know if they'll go for this play. I think it is just going to be a ward to try and see Tom Rio's movements early on. I don't think there's a huge opportunity. That's a pretty big wave, and yeah, he's just going to complete the recall.
Close up to Palette, but yeah, I mean, we saw the emote come out, so maybe they thought there was a ward. Maybe Zodiac walked up into the river and then just came back, giving the false impression of it. But either way, huge wave. He didn't really want to fight into that. So it's just going to be a quick reset, and then another top to bottom clear coming out from MBE. From Spot rather, on SBTC Esports, but they might come across each other.
Ooh, actually, could have a little bit of trouble for Enpa. Never mind, it's not Enpa that's in trouble. It's Summer. There's so much damage coming in from those scissors. Spot in range as well, has flash, but I think Summer will get out of dodge.
Yeah.
Enpa fending off this play in pretty spectacular fashion.
Yeah, Spot popping that sweeper realizes he's already been spotted, so there's no chance to go in, and oh man, that's annoying. But yeah, Enpa playing that out really well, almost turning it around onto the Nara if he hadn't already blown his ghost at an earlier moment. I'm not quite sure when he did that. Maybe he did that really early to try and force some lane control that he had in the early stages, but yeah, if he had that ghost, that probably was a dead Gnar, and would have been a great start for Enpa.
Yeah, the start's not terrible regardless, as he is just building himself up a nice lead. Enpo, we know he loves playing these lane dominant, very, very strong champions. It's just looking at the bot lane. Tomrio lurking around. He's not doing anything though, just kind of threatening.
Yeah, hasn't been able to really impact these lanes. All of SPTC playing pretty far back, just letting the waves push into them. With the exception of Enpa, who is always willing to take that fight. Try and hand stiff you in the top side. But this could be bad. Spot is lurking. Tomrio's just behind, so stop with the scared Yumi. I can't do armchair psychology on emotes.
It's just going to be a wave clear. I think Spot was just in a position for a potential lane gank that might have been coming in from Tomrio. They weren't sure where he was. They will find out soon enough, I'm sure, as they will start up the dragon, but he could go over the wall, attempt to steal.
They sit bow, so
they know he's there.
I think they're willing to. Not with an Annie being able to just turn quite with her ability.
Yeah, they will just secure the dragon. The pinch potentially coming in. Oh, but they're just going to turn around onto Zodiac. Drop the bear.
That is
one for Vin, boys.
That is beautiful calls from side of SPTC. If they just tried the passive play, they would have been just caught out by a hook and run down. But Dia just does not let that happen. Instant murder onto Zodiac. Just flash Tibbers, and the follow-up is perfect. You can see here, look, it should be okay. They even dropped the turret as sort of a attempt to block the hook, preemptive block, but nope, just turn and burn. Goodbye, Thresh.
Yeah, just absolutely annihilate Zodiac. Pretty fantastic stuff there. Looking at this top side, it is very even at the moment. A slight CS lead for Enpa after these early plays. Neither of them getting involved in that last little flurry of action. Where are your eyes being drawn? Is there anything jumping out at you, Marby?
Yeah, it's a two-wave lead for Gwen in a lane against a Gnar. Gwen is not meant to have a good laning phase. That's kind of why she isn't so perma prio and pick ban anymore. Her lane phase has been pretty new. I feel that in my soul. The walk of shame. Just you put your heart out and try and give your mid laner that quick rune, and they just leave you in the Zodiac. Nobody deserves that.
It's true. That. Nobody does. As MBE are going to get themselves a Herald. SC just not really in the spot to contest that. So, objective secured. Nugu walking back into lane, but look at this. The stun comes in. Under the tower they go. Cyclone used, but the cage keeps him safe. And that's an ultimate burn for not much.
Yeah, just a little bit off on Tibbers. They probably wouldn't have had the opportunity if they'd waited.
Sorry, what was that about Tibbers?
Yeah, Tibbers is back. Tibbers is back up and turned that 2v1 into a 3v1 pretty quickly, and we learned that Nugu cannot survive that. Just steps up, wants that cannon, I guess. Yeah, Annie kind of strong.
Yeah, that's a lot of burst. And Annie now on the top side still has Tibbers available, chunking out Tomrio.
It's still
Tier 1 that looks pretty happy.
Yeah, they managed to catch out Emperor and knock him down. Plenty of CC available between this top jungle duo. But Annie's response, bit slow, couldn't really get there in time, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. What happens here? Gnar ult into a belly bop. Doesn't need a belly bop.
No real counterplay there.
Yeah.
Oh, Vinboys is dead.
Hook box into everything coming out of.
Oh, look at this. Crouching Tiger, hidden Renata. Spot joining the play as well. Slows goes down. Zodiac low, but Hook and Flash might get him out. Spot, where's the E? There it is, but he's gonna die. No, never mind. Paulette will get him out.
No, the health fund. I've forgotten what the actual name was, but something along those lines, right? So what happens here? Vinbush just eats a hook. Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
a
he just
lot
gets
of,
hooked and
bit of a waste of the Featherstorm there. I understand trying to get as much burst in, but this is a nice attempt to just try and keep them there as long as possible. And honestly, that Flay passive damage did a decent chunk to slows, so it worked out really well. And the ignite was just enough to take it down. And quick rundown of Thresh. Just really nice turnaround play from Palette. Heads up.
yeah, that looked really good. As Emperor just doing a little bit of harassment as he continues to maintain just a slight lead. That last death did catch the CS up for Summer. But you can see that in terms of actual trading and lane positioning, Emperor is not particularly scared.
No, he's just going in, trying to get these snips down. He loses out a little bit on that trade, but it is all fine. It's all good. It's 10 seconds till the next dragon. And even though it's a fairly even top side for Enpa, the bot side is winning. There's a very fed spot. There's fed Wukong. That's a fed DO1. It's not as fed as Vinboys could be against slows, but it's doing fine. And Palette is more than happy, well on the way to that Shirelia's Revelry. And so they are just gonna keep on keeping on, pretty much. That's all they need to do. It's not like they fall off by any means.
Nope,
The Flash Tibbers is always potent. Aphelios is great.
Oh, Dia in some trouble. Spot is going to come in, try and bail him out, but you can't counterplay the baby cage. Spot actually getting stunned up. Might be in a little bit of trouble here as he's desperately trying to kill Tom Rio. The stopwatch buying time. Needs to dance around
Zooming
the Vega, manages it. Enpa comes in at the speed of sound as Nugu can't get the kill onto Spot. It's a double kill for the monkey.
Spot. Okay, Emperor missed everything there. Gets his assist, but you know, I think ideally they really would have liked that to go over to Emperor, but yeah, Dia just not much you can do here. Hits the stopwatch, but that just means you get baby caged instantly. And this looks pretty bad from Spot. He did end up in the cage or like on the cage, but he still just has enough damage. He's already reached up to that Divine Sunderer. I'm pretty sure it's because he's doing just fine and gets a double kill for himself. So 2 for 1 in the trade overall. You're more than happy with that. Yeah, he's 11 left. 3-0.
It was a fairly average game one from him on the Maokai. Was not super impressed by his play. This is much more impressive here on the Wukong. Has been super explosive, 100% kill participation. Pretty much exactly what you want to be seeing out of this early game playmaking jungler.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing the comfort start to show. The Maokai looked like he just wasn't aware of the limits of this champion, especially with his build and choices and that very early level 1, like level 2, level 3 dive. This time around, he just knows his limits, and he is executing on them extremely well. And now he's being able to link up with DO1 and with Palette in certain situations and really make things happen.
Summer. Good luck. There's an Annie coming in. Stun Prime. They miss everything.
Good flash.
Well done there by Summer. They get out the TP from mid as well to keep him safe. Lovely stuff there by MBE.
Yeah, they commit the Tibbers and the Cyclone at the exact same time. So the Flash dodges them both, which works out really well. In the end, it's not too much committed by SPTC, so it's a free Flash, not that upset. A little bit of time wasted, perhaps. But it's 2 big ultimates down, which means this should be a Rift Herald for the side of Box, because I don't think SPTC would really want to fight without, their big ultimates. They don't even have the needlework up either, so just leave it, let it go.
Yeah, they just, bursts of action with lots of lull states so far.
Yeah, what is actually coming out good for the side of MBE is, even with that little sidestep into the tier, they've hit the Rod of Ages at roughly the same time. So Vigar is pretty happy just to keep stacking up. He's going to be super, super strong. He's going to be able to pick up that Dead Man's Plate as well, quite likely in a third item. He's just going to be cranking out so much damage, and it's going to be really hard to deal with him.
For sure. Once again, Emperor still just on Weed Whacker duty up there with Summer. Rift Herald summoned up in the mid lane. That should crack that open for MBE. Good stuff. Right before the dragon as well. No, never mind. I can't read numbers. Oh, Emperor moving forward, using that needlework. Can he land the last hit? Of course he can. Solo kill for the Emperor.
Lands at that time. That's what you want from Emperor. He's not even on his first item. He's still behind us. He's still behind a mythic, and he is already committing to taking down. Okay, Tomoyo caught out.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. Good handshake. He can go nowhere. Vin Boys will take that kill every day of the week.
Yeah, but I was really worried that Cyclone was going to take that one, as it was taken away. But that is a great pick ahead of this dragon. Just gonna watch this. Summer recently transformed out of Mega Gnar and just eats a lot of damage. And once that first needlework lands with the ghost in hand, Emperor can just run him down and nothing he can do.
No, there is not. So that will be a dragon. Fairly easy here for SE, moving up to Soul Point as they secure their third. And a Mountain Drake for a Gwen who gets the extra resistance in her W. Wukong with that passive. They're looking very, very tame.
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty happy, and especially against Vega, just having that shield passive coming out from the Mountain Soul just to offset some of the bloody ridiculous Vega burst. He's still a little bit away from it. He still has to stack his Rod of Ages. He still has to complete his Seraphs, but that will be a godsend once it gets to that stage for Nugu. And he's been keeping up okay. He's been killed a couple of times, but he's keeping up on CS. He's had a decent tower. There have been a couple of towers dropped. Oh, there's one tower dropped, so he's gotten a bit of gold from that. And he's not behind the curve really at all. And that's going to be really important because he's going to be the biggest problem for SBTC in my opinion, especially with a Thresh behind him to make him even harder to kill. Like, I was still thinking Slows is the safest AD carry known to man, but you can just, because of that, you can just save Zodiac's Lantern pretty much entirely for Nugu in the 5v5s, and then it becomes impossible almost.
Oh, Tibbers misses, or rather just doesn't get too much done. Slows getting away, taking a lot of damage. Spot comes in. The assassin is here, gets away from the baby cage as well, so he'll even escape.
Yeah, beautiful hook coming out from Paulette after the Featherstorm is forced from Dia. Spot's going back in.
Yeah, just cycloning on the side. Renata ult going across the team. Doesn't get a huge amount done, but Enper does. Cutting Nugu down. And what was that about biggest threat?
Zodiac just completely zoned out. Oh god, this doesn't stop.
Spot. It's okay. Spot will just evacuate. He doesn't want to mess with the burst from Gragas when he's that low.
I gotta say, Paulette's been absolutely smurfing this. Like, lands this handshake immediately, lets them just burst out, slows, and the assassination from Spot just to finish that off, and getting away just at the skin of his teeth there, just narrowly missing the baby cage. And then this re-engage, the hostile takeover comes through, just catches him on the end, and then the handshake to pull him back.
Lovely Paulette.
Just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, Paulette is having a bit of a blinder on this Renata, which you love to see. Look at the damage.
Vin Boys is doing all the heavy lifting, it looks like.
Vin Boys, Aphelios ultimate, that flamethrower ultimate, it hurts.
That boy is achieving, and add another one to the list. Emperor realizes he's been slacking and has to catch up. That's another one. Love to see it. We love to see an Emperor killing everybody else in a 1v1.
We do. As SE will just push up mid. Slow's doing a decent job clearing the wave. Won't be able to pick the tower up yet.
No, but they're working on this 1-3-1 again, and I can pretty much guess where this goes. That's old. That was almost
comes
beautiful.
in, last bit of the ult, and picked him down. Yeah.
That was almost perfect from Emperor there. Being able to position the W to be able to just mostly walk through the baby cage. Fails it a little bit at the end there. Because if you're in the W, but Veigar's in the W, baby cage not work.
Yeah.
So Gwen is actually extremely happy, and you almost have to have a Thresh nearby to just keep Emperor away, thanks with the lantern capabilities. And Spot wants this Baron, but
they're just checking for vision. They're just checking for vision. They don't actually find. There is one ward they didn't find, so I think SE will sniff this out.
Yeah, they pretty much saw everybody run just past the wave as well, so this is going to be very quick. Tomio could steal with a good ult, with good cask smite, but can't get in.
Yeah, just can't get close enough. Baron has been secured. Now they're going to turn around for the fight. Immediately, a lot of damage goes in, but the revive comes through, and Dia1 will even live after that engage.
Yeah, and now 14 seconds. That is Zodiac dead, and the soul is spawning. MBE can't reset, and Tomio is on half health, so this is just a major health lead. It's a number lead as well. They even have the Baron, so they don't have to commit to this, obviously. They could try and trade it for so much more. And in a way, they're kind of doing that, because they've just sent Emperor to split the side lane. But, 4v4 regardless. Mm-hmm. Gonna just get the soul. Gonna get away with everything.
Yeah, it's Soul, it's Baron. They've made out like absolute robber barons. And SE now as well, nearly a 10,000 gold lead. It's just a matter of bringing this one home.
Yeah, if you're MBE, now because of that Soul, it just gets so much harder. And Tomio just does not have the way in, and the meat gets jumped on as well by the Tibbers to just try it. Just guaranteed, and Zodiac steps a bit too far forward, which is really nice for Dia, because he gets the bailout, because otherwise he was fully committed to give his life for that Baron, but doesn't even have to. So he's happy, he's living the life, he's living the dream. He's been having an absolute blinder on the Zanny. And it makes MVP voting really hard because everybody's been really good. Everyone's actually having such a good game from SBTC this time around. Whereas it was a little bit easier in game one, this time just everybody's stepping up, outclassing their opposite number on MBE. Mm-hmm. And it's just complete domination.
Hook onto Dia1. Doesn't really work out. Just a bit of a holding pattern for now.
But Emperor's just a menace. Emperor can't be stopped. They're not even trying to stop him, really.
No, they can't. They have to send so many members of their team to stop this Gwen. This is a pretty impossible situation.
Yeah. You need to send at least 2 members. Okay, a catch onto Spot.
There's a catch onto Spot, but he's a Wukong. He just W's away.
Flash. Yeah, good flash on the cask. And Emperor is like, okay, my turn.
Emperor doing so much damage. Where did they go, Marby? They've vanished like a magician's trick. And it's only 2 of them. It's only 1 of them.
That counts.
The Grand Maestro Emperor pulls a victory out of the hat. And they walk in. SE will grab themselves a 2-0 over MBE. MBE putting up a decent fight, particularly in game 1, but they will end up falling, and they are still waiting for their first win of the VCS.
Yes. It's now down to 0-10 for the side of MBE, and MG and with MG and Box Esports just not being able to put anything together. It's really sad. I don't know if this is our worst start of a team ever.
As an org, probably.
I mean, as an org, definitely. But
Flash has had. I mean, Flash had an almost winless split as well.
yeah, but I think, but they won a few more games. Like they definitely only won one
early
series, but I mean, I can't remember. I can't remember, but either way, they're 0-10 now in game score, 0-5. It's not looking good. SBTC, they played with Spot, they played with Vinboyce. Vinboyce looked fantastic. He looked absolutely fine on the Aphelios. I don't necessarily know if he's better than Slater, but it's by no means
I wouldn't go that far. Like Spot doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and Spot on Champions, he's definitely a lot more familiar with. Looked great. The map hack just looked super uncomfortable for him. Don't know if that means they're gonna just work through a few champion pool decisions and hot swap the junglers if they need them. But I thought they looked fine. The rest of the team also looked absolutely good. So good job.
Yeah, for sure. Looking after that one. Yeah, we're just going to quickly look at the results from the game. Look, it was a really good performance out of everyone. Enpa doing an absolutely disgusting amount of damage on the Gwen. Game 2 was not close, as you can see. This was a bit of a slacking for SE. Good to see Enpa bouncing back. As you said, he hasn't had the greatest ever start to the split. So, yeah, looking good. Do you have any final words on this one before we move off to break?
No, I think this went out pretty much as expected.
Exactly. Yeah. So with that, we will be going to a little bit of break. When we come back, it will be Gum taking on Team Secret, which should be an absolute cracker of a matchup. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching VCS English. My name is Carrix. With me has been the lovely Marbinogi, and we will see you soon.
KDA, should we show them how we do it every day?